knows best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Monday. Let's just get straight into the stories. I, 27 male, discovered my wife's 30 female family was behind my vicious cyberbullying attack. My wife knew, but she hid it for years. How do I move past this? You don't. Your wife's family was cyber bullying attacking you? That is some fucked up shit. My 27 male marriage is in a really bad spot after a deep breach of trust. I don't know how to recover or how to trust my wife, 30 female, again. For some context, we've been together 7 years and married for 5. We have a child together, 2 male. We met at a con. I thought her cosplay was amazing, struck up a conversation, and the rest is history. She's the most loving, unselfish, and decent person I've ever met. If my husband said that I'm the most decent person he's ever met, I know he didn't mean it like that because he said she's the most loving, unselfish, and decent person I've ever met. That's crazy. Our relationship was never without its challenges. Our biggest obstacle was her family. My presence was unwelcome. They're very close-knit, and if one doesn't accept you, then you're not getting far. There are a few family members who broke away from the pack, but no one hardly acknowledges them. There's no contact and black sheep. That's crazy. I have been thinking about this a lot because I have my own family dynamics at play, and I'm like, life is too short. I just don't understand crazy behavior, and I understand it's because there are so many different dynamics and people that are not healed and people that are really unhappy in their own life, and then that pours out into everybody else's life, but it just sucks. I didn't know how my wife's family was, but I did know family was extremely important to her. Her whole upbringing was based on family. So I tried everything in my power to make it work. They didn't really put up with me until our son. What do you mean put up with you? Oh, family, I mean, I've said this a million times because we get so many stories of like mother-in-laws. It should not deter you from choosing your husband, because if that man is the love of your life or wife, whatever the thing is, I think that you should be with that person, but you do have to, the part that needs to be abundantly clear before marrying somebody is not the family. It's not anything like that. It's how your partner handles their family, right? If they are able to have boundaries, because there are people with insane families, but if Mark is able to place boundaries and cut himself off from his family, then that's great. Then you don't have to deal with them. But it becomes a problem when your partner has no boundaries and can't stand up to their family, right? And I also think it is important that you know where this person stands with the order, because there are also men, is what I meant to say, that prioritize their family over their wife. And that to me is batshit insane. Your wife becomes your immediate family, and that is your partner, and that is you two against the world, and now your family becomes second. And that's just what I believe and how I think it goes, because it always baffles me when people argue back. It's like, your parents got together and then had you, and I understand a lot of us don't have great parent dynamics, and it's like, well, it didn't work out for them. I get that, but I still believe the best households and the ones that I look up to and the people that I know that have healthy parents and healthy family dynamics are those who it's them against the world. And those are just my thoughts. Between our wedding planning to shortly before the wedding, I was the target of some relentless and vicious cyberbullying. It got personal. Fake bad reviews polluted my business profile too. It cost me some potential clients. I didn't know where it came from or why. I couldn't find a solution. I'd report, but it'd take a while for anything to be done, or there'd be more accounts coming out for another round. The whole thing impacted my life and my mental health. It took a toll. This is going to be bad news bears. My wife was incredibly supportive. She was my rock and my best friend. I loved her even more for her care and how she held me down. Then the trolling and everything stopped. I wanted nothing more than to move on. I put it all behind me until the other day, my wife confessed that her family was behind the harassment. Oh, why would you admit that if you're moved on? I didn't believe her at first, but she was serious and showed me proof in their family group chat. I am so sorry. What the fuck? If Carter had a business or was just online and my family was harassing him and I knew about it, I would blow up each of their houses. I would literally fly my happy ass back to North Dakota immediately and blow up each individual house. What are we talking about? Oh my gosh. And why are you admitting that? It's bad enough that you allowed that. Not that you allowed it because you don't have control over people's actions, but you couldn't speak to them and say, hey, please quit doing this. And she was there supporting you. Meanwhile, she knew that it was her family. Oh my gosh. It felt like I was right back there again. They were gloating and justifying themselves, saying stuff like, some people got to learn the hard way. And if he wants to join the fold, here's his initiation. I'm sorry, y'all are fucking crazy. And also, obviously, he's not going to admit on this Reddit thread if he's done anything to them. But from my understanding is that they've been cold to him from the get-go and he hasn't even done anything. And then you're harassing him. I'm sorry. I don't fuck with that. I don't fuck with that at all. And it's funny, and I won't be able to speak about this for a really long time, but I have been harassed by people that I know. And it is fucking crazy. And not anybody like super close to me, but I'll drop a story time in the far, far future. However, oh my gosh, they were gloating and justifying themselves, saying stuff like, some people got to learn the hard way. Learn what? Learn what? And this is my problem also. I understand families not liking somebody's spouse if they're really a bad person. Like if this person's like a drug addicted person, which addicts, obviously it's a disease and I get that, but like I could understand if it was somebody who was actually like bad for your daughter or your cousin or your niece or whoever is leaving the hate, which let's step aside from the hate portion. I understand that and that's valid, but somebody who you just don't agree with or that you're just so close-knit that I truly believe, and I have a friend who I think that her parents don't want her to have a partner ever because they just want it to be them three because they're an only child. And I'm so convinced that they just never want her to get married because they want to just be the three of them. And every single boyfriend that she has, they don't approve of. And it's like, that is y'all being so fucking crazy. Right. And I feel like that's what this is, or they have some perceived idea of who he is and they don't like him. But it's like, that's your daughter or your cousin or your niece. If she chose this person and she is happy, hell, even if she's not, that is not your place to step in and like be rude or cyberbully or do something crazy like that. I cannot understand people's rationale for the way that they act. Like I literally can't. I knew I wasn't their favorite person, but I never realized they hated me and would go to such extremes. I asked my wife, when did she find out and if she was a part of it? She swore she wasn't a part of it and that she'd never do that to me. She claims she didn't initially know that it was her family until a few months before our wedding. One of my sister-in-laws, 28 female, left a profile up on her phone and my wife saw it. She confronted her family and made them stop. Okay, well, that is good news. I'm now understanding why she didn't tell. She learned because she saw on her sister's phone and she immediately told them to stop. But how do you bring that up to your husband? I obviously, which my family isn't fucking crazy, but if they did do something like this and I discovered it, I would also feel really bad, especially 2 months before the wedding, because you're going to go get married and you're going to be around all of these people. Oh, I mean, there's no right way. It is lying by omission, but I do understand why she hid it. But it's also like, then take that to the grave. I don't know. Actually, I think I might do exactly what she did if I were in the scenario, which I would never be, obviously, because my family is normal. However, that is just, I honestly am like very strict with my boundaries. Like, if somebody does something that is disrespectful to me, I might give a second chance. But if you 3, 4, 5 times disrespect me, I'm done. This level, and especially the like pain and suffering he endured, probably trying to get rid of those reviews. I can only imagine. I can literally only imagine that's your wife's family. I would literally never see them again. I would tell Carter, if roles were reversed, I would say, I am never going to go see your family again. And you are just going to have to deal with that. And that is the unfortunate part about family. And when there are family dynamics that aren't going well, the only person that it hurts is like the couple, like the family. For harassing him, they don't have to deal with anything. They get to act crazy and then go on their merry way. But like, him removing himself from the family now only puts a strain on their relationship. Even though, like, let's say that Carter didn't want to be around my family, I'd be like, that is totally fine. I get it. I'll go, and I can like be okay with that if they wronged him. And honestly, I would probably not want to be around them either. If they literally did something to Carter, I wouldn't even go see them because that's just who I am. But if it's a dynamic where, in this instance, where she's really close with her family, but that's also painful. Like, if Carter's family did something to me that was like so hurtful and so fucking crazy, I get that it's their family or his family, but it's also like, you're hanging out with these people who are rude to me. I know that's your blood, but it also is just kind of painful, right? Because it's different than if it were a friend. Like, if it were a friend, we're so quick. I actually was just thinking about this. We are so, maybe not quick, but we can cut off people that aren't blood much quicker than family. And we're like, well, that's our family. Well, at the end of the day, I get it's blood, but like, that is just another human being. If they have wronged you, they have wronged you. Like, just because you are blood related does not mean you get access to my life or somebody's life at all. Right? Because we were born family. I don't know. I just like, the older I get, the less tolerant of bad behavior I am. And I don't care where you come from. I don't care if we're blood. I don't care if we're related through marriage. I don't care what our connection is. If you are not kind and respectful and just like have not boundaries per se, but like don't do anything crazy to me, or you do something crazy, I don't want to fuck with you. And those are my thoughts. I asked why she was telling me everything now. She said it was weighing on her, and she opened up to her eldest sister, 35 female, one of the family's black sheep. And the sister threatened to tell me the truth if my wife didn't. Nothing my wife said made it better. She knew for years what her family did and hid it from me. Oofta. Yeah, that actually, I forgot. They have a 2-year-old son. They have been together for 7 years, married for 5. She found out prior to the wedding. So this is 5 years later. Yeah, that's a lot of time. Oh no. I feel bad because I can imagine that's a rock in a hard place, but that is your husband. Again, I believe that the allegiance lies with your partner. Oh, damn. She knew for years what her family did and hid it from me. She kept everything quiet. It hurts more coming from her now because she knew firsthand my pain. I was pretty numb. My wife was anxious and kept pushing for me to say something. I told her there wasn't anything that she could say right now that would make it okay. What she did was no better than her family. They made my life hell, and her first instinct was to cover for them. She started crying and begged me to understand. She said it wasn't like that, and she was trying to make things right with as little damage as possible and mend relationships. Oh, I mean, I don't think what she did is as bad. Like, they were the ones who did that. It was their actions. But I do understand the betrayal because 5 years later, I could maybe justify like right after the wedding and be like, I didn't want you to be mad. I mean, it's still hurtful and he still would be pissed. I would be pissed if I didn't know right away. But yeah, it feels kind of like not lying by omission, but like she was complicit in their like. But here's the thing. They stopped after she said stop, after she found out. Like, there was nothing. She didn't know while it was happening. Like, she found out and then it stopped because she told them, yeah, this is really messy. I wasn't very receptive to her. She wasn't reaching me. I couldn't help her or myself. I told her I needed some time to clear my head. She was against it. She said we could work through this together, but I was firm on space. Space isn't a request. She's respected. I'm really trying to understand her side. I'm trying to move past it, but I feel so betrayed. I trusted her more than anyone. I'm my most vulnerable with her. I kept opening up to her about the incident even after she knew the truth. Ooh, I didn't think about that. I literally did not think about that at all. He's confiding in her about how painful that was and what he's experiencing and how that fucked with his mental and his actual business. And she then knew, like after she found out, and she's just sitting there consoling him, knowing good and well that it was her family that was doing that. I mean, it's, again, we all know, let's say it together, Brenna is estranged from her family. I'm not estranged, but I'm just like, again, we know this. Therefore, if that were my family, that would be an immediate fuck you guys. I'm not coming around. And that's it. And the fact that I get it because people are close and you want to think the best of your family and you want to have a relationship and you do have a relationship, but that's so hard to come to terms with because it does feel like betrayal, even though it's their family or her family. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. This isn't like crazy, but like the different dynamics at play is so hard. She encouraged me to let it go and not allow it to have any claim on me. I thought she had my best interest in mind. Now I just see it as her attempt to protect her family yet again. Yes, that's exactly what she's doing. I haven't confronted anyone involved. I don't think they're worth it, but I've made it clear they're no longer allowed to see our son until further notice. Now I'm getting texts about how I'm depriving my child of grandparents and aunts over past family spats. No. You don't get to disrespect me like that and then see my son. I fully approve of that. And I don't think you should use children and threaten and this and that, but like I feel he is 100% valid in what he's doing. That is my child. You guys were crazy to me. You think that you get to treat me like that and then you're going to get access to me or my son? Fuck no. Fuck no. I'm in full support. I'm literally in full support. One of the hardest parts is the distance from my wife. She's my best friend and partner in every way. Now we're mostly only communicating about our son and other household necessities. She's hurt by my rejection and she's been crying often. I don't know if I'm being unfair to her. I hate all of this. I want to make our marriage work, but I'm questioning our relationship up to now. I'm just really lost. I need an outside perspective. How do I navigate this situation and move forward for my marriage and myself? I think the worst part about it is the fact that you can like scold your family, but I don't think she's really, even if she's not fully siding with them, I feel like she's not really understanding the impact and like what her family did and how fucking crazy that is. I understand it's hard, but like the only thing that should be happening right now is her consoling you and being there for you and what you want and what you need, quite frankly. And that's the most upsetting part. There is an update. I'm going to read this now. Earlier this week, my wife and I were able to regroup and hash stuff out. I was glad I took the space I did because even though the situation is still hurtful and feels like a massive betrayal, I was in a better position to talk. My wife thought I was calling it quits, but I told her we were at a crossroads and needed to talk things out. She apologized for what her family did and her role in it. She said she never intended to hurt me. She had convinced herself she was protecting me from more pain. She realizes now that she was largely protecting herself. She admitted she was afraid of telling me the truth because she thought it wouldn't just end the wedding, but that it'd end the relationship. She lost other relationships and friendships over her family. She didn't want to lose me too. Hello? If that isn't a wake-up call, like what the fuck is wrong with your family? You've lost other relationships and friendships because of them? I am so sorry. What? I can't. Over the years, she wanted to tell me, but kept talking herself out of it. And then the cover up kept getting bigger and she didn't know how to confess. I told her I didn't agree with her choices and I wish she had more trust in me and our relationship. I meant it too. I wouldn't have just ditched her. She asked, where do we go from here? And promised no matter the outcome, there wouldn't be any more secrets between us. I told her I wanted to work on our marriage, but things needed to change. We couldn't survive with her family looming, and I didn't want our son exposed to them. I think that's totally fair. I think you don't want your son within 10,000 feet of these people. They're fucking insane. She asked what I needed of her. I was never big on ultimatums, and I didn't really consider this one, but I was adamant that any path of us moving forward together would mean radical boundaries with her family. Yes, no shit. There is no other way to move forward. I agree with him. She was honest that the thought of making this big of a move against her family was scary, but said if it's between them and us and our son, 2 male, then she chooses us. Thank God. Thank literal God, because this is honestly more than I expected from her. Her agreement was major for me because I really didn't know where she'd land if she had to choose. I never wanted to put her in that position, but after everything her family did, I feel there was no other way. The reason I have hope that my wife is being for real is because she sent a text to their group chat stating to stop blowing up my phone and that the no access to our son until further notice is a joint decision she fully supports. I didn't expect that of her. She did it on her own. That's amazing. What the fuck? That's incredible. Wow. This is honestly such a good story and such a good example of how it should be. I literally had no idea that it was going to be like this. I didn't know that this is where we're going. Of course, they didn't like it. Now she's labeled as disrespectful and ungrateful, and how the black sheep, eldest sister, 35 female, and I are poisoning her against them. Your family is batshit insane. What are we talking about? It was also said, what kind of man takes a woman away from her family over a spat? No. These people are insane. this is exactly what manipulators and people who never take accountability do. They turn it on everybody else. They say it's them, it's them, it's them, when you guys are the one who did the crazy behavior and wildly disrespected both of them. It's not only, it's majorly disrespectful to him, but her as well. That is her partner, and good on her for standing up to these fucks. Because what are we actually talking about? This isn't a spat, nor do I have anything to prove about my manhood. They led a whole campaign designed to ruin my life. Their actions are chilling to me. These are the same people who looked me in the eye with a straight face while everything was going on. This is about protecting my family. I'm clapping because yes, because actually, what the fuck? And that, honestly, I'm not good with the shady fucking behavior. He is right. They looked him straight in the face. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, they were leaving nasty reviews and cyberbullying him. Like, that is insane behavior. And if you have ever done something like that, seek help. My wife has gone low contact. Her family has this mindset that significant others or friends come and go, and it's family who is the constant and where loyalty should be. They can't seem to compute that my wife, our son, and I are the core family. That's what gets me every time. It's like, how did we get here? Y'all are a core family because you got married and then you had kids and then your kids break off and start the same exact thing. It's like literally just common sense. Like, what are you talking about? They're extended family now and they don't have a claim over our son. Being involved with him is a privilege, not a right. Yes. You best believe, like, I'm already good on my boundaries when it comes to my future children. Oh, one little thing, you're not making the cut. I'm sorry, I'm just protecting my son or daughter. I don't know what their exact issue is with me. They only really tolerated me because of our son. When I first met them, one of my wife's siblings, 28 female, said they thought my wife was settling for me because of age and that she could do better. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? What the actual fuck is wrong with you? They're a very tight-knit group, and if one doesn't take to you, then you're not getting far with the rest. It felt like once their minds were made up, there was nothing I could do. I've long since stopped trying to make sense of any of their reasonings. It's a rabbit hole because they don't have any, because people like this just want to be miserable and suffer and blame everybody else other than take accountability, and that's just what these kinds of people do. Our plan is to move to a new area to create a healthier distance, cement boundaries, and have a fresh start. I brought up therapy too. It's something we've been discussing. We'll be officially starting that soon. I think that is also great. Although your wife has done a great job in setting up the boundaries, I did never think that it hurts to do therapy as well, because it's going to come with conflicts and her probably guilt because it's her family. Even though they suck, it's still hard, and I understand that. I think moving away will be beneficial for us. It's something my eldest sister-in-law had advised us on. During the wedding planning, she was encouraging my wife to move and create our own space away from their family's isolating circle. I know my wife is more than just her family. I've seen it firsthand. She shines so bright when away from their influence. That's what I meant when I said she was the most loving, unselfish, and decent person I've ever met. If I'm being honest, I don't know how things will turn out. I'm still hurt and I still feel betrayed, and my wife's facing her own challenges with low contact, but I want to be hopeful. I don't want to close the door. I'm hoping we can heal together. I found not everything is as isolating as with the majority of my in-laws. It means more than you know. Okay, this guy sounds precious, first of all, and second of all, that is crazy. And moving away, going low contact, I think are all great ideas and great things to do. There will need to be therapy. He just said it himself, and I get that he's still feeling betrayed, but that's fucking crazy. Okay, next. This one I added in because I felt like this would be me writing into Reddit. Am I the asshole for taking walks on my lunch break? I'm sorry, what? A few years ago, I started a job that was more office based than previous jobs. Because of that, I was moving less and gaining some weight, and I am very out of shape. I'm not overweight, but I'm carrying a little more fat than I'm used to, and I can tell my cardio ability has gone down. I get a 1 hour paid lunch per day. A lot of my coworkers eat at their desk and do a little work, like maybe answering an email, but mostly eating. I personally go to my car to eat and then do laps around the parking garage before I go back in. I am never gone for more than an hour, and I am back on time. Recently, I did my normal routine. I grabbed my lunch, went to my car and ate it, then I started on my walk. I happened to run into a coworker during my walk. He was out there because he forgot he needed something from his car. He stopped me and asked what I was doing. I told him I ate my lunch and now I'm taking a walk before my lunch break is over. He didn't like that answer and said our lunch break is for eating, not walking, and that when I'm done eating, I should go back to work. I told him we are given an hour for lunch and I want to use all of it in the best way I can. She is not in the wrong. This is some old people mindset. This is some boomer concept, because if I get an hour paid lunch, they just want you to do more work. It's fucking crazy. It is literally crazy. She can do what she wants just because other people choose to eat and work, even though they're paid that hour. And actually by law, because why is it at like little dinky jobs? Like when I worked at Equinox, we had to take a break and we had to like not be working because of labor laws. Like if you were there for 8 hours, you needed to have an hour lunch break. It was certain, like if it was a 4-hour shift, you needed a 15-minute break, and they would make you, because it's like the law. Right. And also, regardless of the law, she knew going into this job, she got an hour lunch break paid. I think what she's doing is fine. And it is fine. It's not a thought. It's not an opinion. She is correct. I think he told other people, because then I've been receiving comments before I go on break that I didn't receive before. I don't think I was wrong. I'm entitled to my break. All my work gets done on time. I take it at the same time every day, so it's expected I won't be available, and I maybe come back to a few non-urgent emails. I have my phone on me in case someone calls for an emergency, which has never happened. I talked to my parents about it, and they both say that they work through lunch and I shouldn't be out walking. Of course, your old parents say that because it is a sign of their times, because that's what they did. You work, and don't even get paid for it. We no longer do that. I'm all for, there is a balance. I think there are a lot of people our age that are lazy and literally don't know how to work and don't want to work and are just lazy. But there is also like an abuse of power in the system. And I think that's crazy that you're given an hour lunch break and now you're being shamed for going on a walk on said lunch break. And I would actually argue, and I've always thought this and always felt this, and I'm sure I've spoken on it, it would make you more productive. Getting out and moving, like that gives you energy. And I think that would actually make her better at her job and help her get more done at work rather than going all the way through lunch, eating while she's working. I think the walk would actually be beneficial to her productivity. And I think that can be proven by science, because it is that walking is so good for you and the mental clarity, and taking a break, I think it's better for everybody. I'm over the old people mindset. I'm sorry to like bash the old people, but what are we talking about? But also, they're older and raised in a different time. So I don't know if I should trust their judgment. Exactly. I should have kept reading. That's exactly what I think. So am I the asshole for taking a walk during my lunch break? No, they just want you to be a workhorse. And then there's a ETA. I think she just means edit or update. It's paid. A lot of people think it's unpaid. I am paid for it. I'm salary. My manager doesn't have an issue, but some people I work with do have an issue knowing I use part of it to walk. Are they jealous because they can do the same thing? What are they mad about? I will never understand what people are mad about, the actions of somebody else. It's like, oh, yeah, if she were like taking time that she should be working or getting something done, that's fine. I get that, but she's not. She's literally taking her hour lunch break. And she also says she has her phone on her. She what are we talking about? It is her right. And actually by law, you should be taking that lunch. Those are my thoughts. Okay. Next. Wait, one more thing. I'm never going to say a walker is in the wrong because I deeply, deeply not resonate. What's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like when you take on something as your own. I am very much a walker, and therefore resonate is the word that's coming to me. I literally can't switch the on switch on my brain right now, but like, you know what I mean. I just like deeply not relate. I don't think that's it. With the walkers, I'm going to just shut the fuck up and go on to the next story. Oh, this one was juicy. I didn't read it, but the title is insane. My 35 female husband, 35 male, and my friend, 36 female, acted like they wanted each other sexually right in front of me. Like, I literally cannot believe that these are people's lives. Background. My husband and I have been married for 12 years, together for 17. They've been together since they were 18 years old because they're 35 right now. Holy shit. Okay. 2 nights ago, we went out for a friend's birthday. We'll call her Jane. Jane is married to my husband's childhood friend. They got married about 1.5 years ago, and they have not been doing well due to him breaking Jane's trust. They're in therapy, but it's getting close to divorce. She is understandably very upset. Oofda, this is not going to be good. More background that will make sense later. My husband and I haven't had sex in 2 months. I have recovered from an injury that caused a lot of bleeding during sex. A couple of times during these 2 months, I offered oral sex to him, but he declined. He said he wasn't feeling up to it when I offered, and I believed him. I just want to make it clear, this is not a sexless marriage. My husband also has some self-esteem issues from prior trauma, and he's in therapy for that. Okay, thank you for the background. While we were out for Jane's birthday with some other friends, everything is fine until they're a few drinks in. I only had one the entire night. Our other friends had to call it a night, so it's just me, my husband, and Jane. Where is her husband? I understand that they're not doing well, but like, it's her birthday party and her husband isn't there. Anywho. This is where things get weird. They start flirting in this weird power play for dominance. I don't know how to describe it really. Jane says something about putting herself in a box, like horny jail, because it's been so long since she's had sex, and my husband jokingly grabs her by the throat and says, "Yeah, I'll put you in a box." What? I'm sorry, wait, what? What did I just read? She says something about putting herself in a box like horny jail, and my husband jokingly grabs her by the throat, which number one is fucking weird, and says, "Yeah, I'll put you in a box." What? While all of this is happening, there's this random dude that's hitting on Jane. It's karaoke night, and the random guy serenades her and gives her this silly lap dance. So, all fun and games, right? Wrong. It just keeps escalating from here. Later, Jane grabs my husband's hair and shoves him into the wall, and he kind of moans. I'm sorry, your friend and your husband are both fucking weird for all of this. Regardless if it was sexual or not, she grabs his hair, shoves him into a wall, and he kind of moans. Like, what are we even talking about? He says, "If you grab me by the hair again, it will end with my dick in your throat," or something along those lines. I'm sorry, deceased. This is your husband saying that to your best friend or one of your good friends, and like all of it. Oh my God. If Carter, oh my God, like I literally can't even go there. What? Who? Where? Why? How do we get here? How is this appropriate in any sense of the word? How did we literally get here? Oh my gosh. This entire time, I'm awkwardly laughing it off because I know they're both drunk and they're laughing. At the time, I think my husband is playing around, trying to make her feel better because it's her birthday and her marriage is in the trash. I didn't realize it until hours later. My husband wasn't giving me any of the attention he usually does. This is all wrong in so many different forms of the word wrong. I'm sorry, what? More flirting keeps happening, and my husband asked me multiple times if I'm okay. I just quickly answer that I'm fine. If he's asking me that multiple times, doesn't that sound like he knows something is wrong and he's just looking to see how far this will go? 1,000%. 1,000,000,000%. And like, if you were acting this way, regardless, you would know that this is wrong and weird. And what the fuck are you guys doing? When the bar is closing, I drive us home. Jane doesn't want to go home because of things going on in her marriage. She stayed with us before, so that's not out of the ordinary. And of course, it just gets weirder. Jane pushes my husband onto the couch, straddles him, and chokes him. My husband is enjoying this. I'm standing there dumbfounded. He kept saying how the dynamic was weird, but how much he wanted it. I'm so sorry. Like, I feel like I'm reading porn, but like, not even that. I feel like I'm reading, you know, when you see videos online that are so cringy, I hate cringy videos. Like, I cannot watch other people be fucking cringe or like get secondhand embarrassment. Like, I hate stuff like that. That's how I feel reading this. What? But how much he wanted it? Like, say something. But like, also the fact that your husband is doing this in the first place is like the bad part, because I always say this, Carter and I would never act like that. Like, people don't do that. This type of behavior would never happen in the first place. This is like the most crazy thing I've ever heard. Later, while my husband is in the restroom, Jane tells me they are not sexually attracted to each other, but they're both very sexually attracted to me. Like, yes, I know my husband is sexually attracted to me. Thank you, Jane. He comes out, and at some point, my husband says he wants to throw us both down and fuck us. Oh my gosh. It says, go fuck my wife, to Jane. I'm sorry. I'm going to like go crawl in a hole. What are we talking about? As soon as what was said involved me directly, I had to say something then. I said, I think both of them sober wouldn't do anything behind Jane's my husband's best friend from childhood, may I add, back, regardless of how much of a jerk he's being. And I wasn't down to do anything when alcohol is involved. They said, okay. What I said was a cop-out, obviously. I wouldn't be comfortable if alcohol wasn't involved either, but I didn't know how to reasonably voice that, so I used alcohol as an excuse. Later, I've come to understand I was disassociating at the bar and was not processing what was happening. I also didn't want to come between whatever was happening because they're two adults. That's also your husband. Oh, what the fuck? I shouldn't have to be the sober person to stop or otherwise prevent something from happening by being a mother hen. We're talking about your husband. My husband should know better. Thank you. We had previously talked about how I was uncomfortable earlier this month when she had put her hand on his chest while laughing. She was also drunk then. He apologized for not stopping that. Oi, this is messy, and like, I would hate everything about this. I would never get over this. So what would the night have been like if I wasn't there? I feel grimy or ashamed, but I didn't do anything, so why do I feel that way? How much of this is being drunk and silly and not having had sex in a while, and how much of it is something else? You don't act like that when you're married. Oh my gosh. Is this going to happen anytime he has a few drinks and someone gives him attention? I don't know. You need to ask him. him. I have communicated all of this to my husband once he was sober, and he says he feels awful. He apologized and made us an appointment with a marriage counselor. I'm asking the above questions, and does it seem like therapy would even help? Has anyone ever dealt with something similar, and what was the result? I'm having nightmares about this. I'm so hurt and angry I can barely even look at my husband. Am I being unreasonable? Is it my fault for not saying I wasn't okay until later, even though I wasn't given the chance to really think about it? Your feelings are 100% valid, and they are in the wrong. And this is like the craziest thing I've ever heard. I'm glad that he apologized and said it was awful and got you marriage counseling. But like, the concerning part is that it happened in the first place. And I hate the excuse of alcohol, because it's not a fucking excuse. And this is why I hate alcohol in general, because obviously it does make us act not as we would, but like, it's never anything good. I just like, there's not many things that are good that come from drinking. But let's get to like the root of the issue. Your husband is in the wrong. That is so inappropriate on so many levels. And I would also argue that there's been weird stuff between them before, because this doesn't just come out of nowhere. This girl grabbed his hair, put her hand on his chest, straddled him. He said, I'll put my dick in your throat. And that was supposed to be endearing because she's going through a hard time. Nope. No, none of it is okay. None of it should be looked over. I would be livid, and I would leave them both in the trash. I would be so far gone. I get you're married. Marriage counseling is probably the best way to go. He didn't technically cheat. He didn't sleep with her, but that is, what do they call that? Micro cheating. Like, to me, that is like completely unacceptable and disrespectful, and so fucked up on so many levels, and I would actually be losing my mind. Okay, you guys, those are all the stories I have for you today. I know it's a tiny bit of a shorter episode. It'll never happen again. I promise we'll hit the hour mark later next week, next time, all the other pods. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you had the best weekend. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you on Friday. Okay. Bye, guys.